We want to talk about a special, I called it a sky show, but basically this is something you're going to want to be attuned to tonight if you're interested in the stars and seeing spectacular views. So of course we are talking about the Perseid meteor shower. We've got Dr. Amy Sale joining us from UNC Chapel Hill to let folks know what we need to know to best view this, what we need to know about this phenomenon in general. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess walk us through the Perseid meteor shower. We hear this name from time to time. It comes back, it's cyclical. Tell us what we need to know just about the backstory of this particular phenomenon.
So meteors can be seen on any night if you're patient enough and have a dark enough sky, but there's certain times of the year where we run through more of a stream of debris, and that creates these meteor showers. So in the case of the Perseids, they're caused by debris that's been left over by comet Swift-Tuttle. And we slam into this stuff around the same time every year, and these little bits of debris, and they are just little bits generally, they can be as small as a grain of sand, and they'll vaporize and create these beautiful streaks of light that you can see for yourself.
Now, are there any factors, I guess, that make this viewing more spectacular than maybe other times that it comes around?
Yes, so some folks may know that there is a total solar eclipse today happening in Spain, Greenland, and Iceland, and we aren't getting the total solar eclipse. Most of North Carolina doesn't even get the slightest partial eclipse, but that does mean it's new moon right now, because solar eclipses only happen at new moon. So our consolation prize, I'm thinking of it as, is that the Perseid meteor shower is peaking during new moon, which means there will be no moonlight to wash out the dimmer meteors from view. So you can potentially see more meteors this year than in a typical year.
That's really interesting. Now, I know that a lot of folks who are probably listening to this, we're all probably more or less just amateur viewers. So when I look up at the sky, how do I know that I'm seeing this versus a plane that's going by with its lights flashing or whatnot?
That is such a good question, because meteor showers often get upstaged by satellites and airplanes. So the things that you're looking for are usually a pretty fast streak of light, so fast that if you're watching with a friend and the friend goes, ooh, and then you turn and look in that direction, you've already missed it. If it's moving more steadily across the sky, like a white point of light that takes a few minutes to work its way across the sky, you might be looking at a satellite or an airplane. And you know it's an airplane, not a satellite, if it's flashing or you see red or green light, then it's probably following FAA regulations and is just an airplane.
Well, I guess that brings me to my next question for us amateurs. How do we best view and or capture this? Because I can already tell, I tried to take a picture of the awesome, moon a couple weeks ago. It was very bright orange, and I think we had some dust stuff that was impacting that, and probably smoke from wildfires. It looked horrible when I tried to use my cell phone, as I knew it would be. But what would you recommend for us amateurs to best view and or if we could maybe capture it at all on camera or video?
So I would recommend, honestly, especially if it's your first meteor shower, just enjoy it with your own eyes. So you're going to want to get yourself to the darkest site you can find, meaning away from city lights or any unshielded lights, and find an open view of the sky. You don't want to just be looking at trees and buildings. And all you need are your eyes. Binoculars and telescopes do not help you see meteors because they restrict your view way too much. You want to be able to have a wide open view. And then you're going to want to be patient. It takes time for your eyes to adjust to the dark. And the meteors can come in clumps. There might be nothing for minutes at a time. Then all of a sudden you see 2 or 3.
Yeah. You talked about, being away from light pollution. For folks who are probably, I would assume, maybe out in our mountain areas where it's a little bit more rural, that's probably going to be a better viewing than, let's say, in uptown Charlotte, where you've got all the lights from the sky, the skyscrapers or the high rises. Other than that, like, are there great places to watch? For example, I know we have a planetarium here in the Charlotte area. I know you're out in Chapel Hill. Does your planetarium have any special viewing? Does it make a difference if you go to a planetarium to see something like that?
So you want to go, planetarium will give you a simulated sky. So,
Gotcha.
I can
Okay.
show you a great simulated. In fact, I did one for shows last night. I said, you can tell everybody you saw the Perseids here. But yeah, you want to go outside the darkest site you can find. Maybe make friends with your people in rural areas and
There you
have a
go.
big meteor. Great.
There you go. Okay. Well, this is so cool. How long do you think this will last? So what's a good time frame to get outside and watch, and how long do you think folks might be sitting out there realistically watching this?
Yeah, so the meteor shower started, by the way, in July and will run through much of August, but it does peak tonight. And then the meteor rate sort of drops off fairly rapidly after the peak night. So check your weather, of course. You don't want to just look at overcast skies or rain. I'm sorry, I've already lost my grip on what the question was.
Oh yeah, is there like a good time frame to get outside?
time
Or
frame,
we're just
yeah.
waiting for it to get as dark as possible and you're sitting out there.
Yeah.
But how long could you feasibly be sitting outside watching this continue?
Yeah, that is such a good question. When we have held skywatching events in the past, as early as 9 p.m., and it's not even fully dark at that point in Chapel Hill, we've actually seen meteors that earlier. So here's the deal. If you want to see the most meteors, you're going to want to go out. This is, again, assuming the sky is reasonably clear, between about 2, from about 2 in the morning till right about it starts to get light from the approaching dawn. So it's probably going to be roughly 5 a.m. Anytime after midnight, you'd see the most. If doesn't work with your schedule, you can still try as early as nightfall. So maybe 10 p.m. It should start feeling pretty dark in most places in North Carolina by then. You won't see as many, but if you do see some earlier in the evening, they're more likely to be these so-called earth grazers, which are like long, slow, dramatic meteors. You see one of those, your night is made.
Yeah. I'm just imagining, obviously this is a passion for you. I can tell, like, right? You've done all of the research on it, the ins and outs, but this is, I feel like, a really cool ambassador, if you will, of space to the average person. Because like I can imagine this is probably a great way for folks to kind of get into stargazing if they aren't already, or maybe kind of dip their toe into like what space is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to mention, especially for those who have maybe little ones where it's not even practical to stay up till 10 p.m.
Yeah.
There is another major meteor shower this year that I call the family-friendly meteor shower because it's known for producing really good meteor activity before midnight. And it's the Geminid meteor shower, which peaks in mid-December. Yeah,
Okay.
and when we held events for that, as early as 8 p.m. we see meteors. But that said, I think it's worth losing some sleep to enjoy nature at night. You see one Perseid meteor and your night will be made.
Yeah, maybe it opens a whole Pandora's box of like, oh, I'm really into this, and then you can't get enough, I'm sure.
And there's other stuff going on. If you missed this, there's a lunar eclipse happening the night of August 27th into the 28th. So there's lots going on in the sky right now.
That's incredible. I love that. All right. Well, Dr. Amy Sale, thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, and I hope people are able to go out and see some meteors.
Indeed. Yeah. All right. Well, take care. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more Live Impact News.